What's up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond, and I'm here with the all new episode of Family and Fiancé. I did not do it the night that it premiered because I had a really bad headache, but I'm doing it now so I can prepare for the rest of my videos. But I was really heated last night when this episode ended. I was super pissed off because I feel like at the end of every Family and Fiancé episode, I get more pissed off than what I am before. I'm like, is that the theme? Y'all want me to get pissed off? Because this episode really got me. Okay, and I don't understand why. And the end of it really pissed me off because I don't think nothing else was solved. I don't think I don't. Okay, I'm going ahead. Anyway, we meet Tiffany and Fred. They've been together 6 years. They met at work. In the past, she had to fight for time in relationships. Like she was never the priority, but in a way, it wasn't like she wasn't still a part of the relationship. So with Fred, he gave her all the attention, everything. So she felt like I don't gotta fight for him. I don't gotta fight for his attention. He gives it to me, and I think that's really nice. To be honest, when you have somebody who wants to spend time with you, they gonna put that action besides the words. So I'm like, okay, we gonna see that. Then early on in relationships, with feeling the fact that he didn't have time for other females, he automatically was like, I want to be committed to her. He has cheated in the early parts of their relationships. I'm like, what? And a handful of her family members does not know him, have never met him. So she's nervous that that's the first thing they're going to hear is the fact that he has cheated and she's still taking him back. And they never tried counseling. For some odd reason, this is the first time you want to try counseling? Okay. So they meet with Tracy. And then Tracy asked how did he propose. So she took him on a cruise for his birthday. The first night she was changing, she turned around, he had the ring right up into her forehead to say, will you marry me? She kind of fell back into a corner because of what she said no. They would have had an entire week of awkward silence, awkward conversations because she said no proposing. So she felt like I'm just going ahead and say yes. She had no choice in that matter. That sucks that you felt like you had no choice but to say no, but to say yes in that sense. Like, okay, you could have been like, I don't know where this is coming from. We don't even know when the duration of the proposal came. I don't know, the proposal came right after he cheated. She forgave him, so the ring came sudden. I don't know. Um, so then she said, how did they meet? They met at work. But in the midst of him trying to explain how did they met, he had his arm wrapped around her. And when he got to that question, he immediately unhooked himself, sat up forward to give Tracy all his attention to explain how did he met. And he said he fell in love head over heels. And he said, this is the girl I'm going to marry. But in the midst of trying to get him to explain that, she just couldn't help but notice the dialogue, the behavior change, that you had to unhook yourself to come give me your attention and tell me how long you've been together and how long that you know that you was going to marry her. But he felt like you was asking me a question, so I was talking. But to her, you could have stayed hugged up with her the whole time, and you had to explain that you didn't have to unhook yourself to give me your attention, and it made her look like she was the background, like she was invisible. And even Tiffany, she was like, yeah, he does that a lot. And she feels like every time you're engaging with other people, whether it's female or male, you tend to leave me behind, like I'm not here. And they've had numerous discussions about it, but it's never been fully addressed. And when Tracy asked Fred, how do you feel when she says that? He says not that serious. And Tracy just hit a nail on the head. That's called minimizing. The fact that you think that's something that is small, even though she's expressed to you, she doesn't feel like it's small, that's dismissive. You are extremely dismissive. And Tiffany said she hit her right on the head. You are very dismissive towards me. Because like you said, you can express something in a light way, like it's not that big of a deal. But to her, it's really like something serious and you're not listening. So the biggest issue in a relationship is lack of trust with the cheating and an incident that occurred for about 7 months. An incident that occurred about 7 months ago. She knew about it. She knew the text messages, all the signs were there, but yet when she would express it to him, he made her seem like she was crazy. Anyway, I got lost because that was funny. But anyway, yeah, so the fact that she recognized the incident where he was cheating and having an inappropriate conversation with another woman, all the signs were there. She obviously seen the text messages, but in his head, it's like, it's not that big of a deal. Girl, you crazy. It's all in your head. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. But then he said he feels terrible about what he did, but he feels like entertaining a woman is not cheating. But there's a disagreement what cheating means. See, this is the thing that's been happening this entire season. What does cheating mean to men sometimes? What does that mean? You having a conversation with a woman's not cheating? Oh, how about you having the same conversation with a woman that's not cheating? You having a very inappropriate conversation with a woman, even though you have a woman, you have a fiance right here living in your house, but yeah, you having an ongoing conversation and she don't know this girl? Okay. So we get to the family meeting. Obviously, Tiffany's family, wait, I'm going ahead. Yeah, the family meeting's coming up. So we got Fred's mother, Sandra. We got his brother Nigel, and we got his best friend Manolito, but I'm gonna say Manny for sure. On Tiffany's side, we got her mother June, we got her brother Marcus, and we got her best friend Claire. So apparently, the women on Tiffany's side, they have seen the interaction between Tiffany and Fred. The brother, he has never met him. This is his first time meeting him. So we're gonna see how that goes. So pretty much it's like a back and forth. Everybody comes in, they say hello, but in the midst of, I don't know if it was when his family came or when her family came, you could see the cameraman peep into the corner. He's pouring himself a drink. I'm like, what time is it over there? Is it like 3 o'clock in the afternoon or something? Because he's drinking something brown and it's really early. Because they said he tends to get different when he drinks. So when her family comes in, he meets the brother. He notices he has a drink in his hand, and he's like, "Okay, hey, how you doing? Hey, I'm Marcus. How you doing?" I don't know. It was a very weird interaction, but we're getting down to the sit down where everybody was expressing their concerns. So on Fred's side, his mother Sandra, she recognizes that um the hurt that you've done to Tiffany, y'all need to heal it. Heal it, do better, and make it work. If not, then y'all need to let it keep bleeding over. And his brother Nigel, his concern is you guys gonna work together through the issues, be together. But I know that you don't see yourself wrong, see yourself doing wrong things when you have a flirtatious behavior with other women. When you have a fiance at home, he don't see it as being wrong. His brother wants him to recognize that. His best friend Manny, he said priorities, bro. Where your priorities at? On Tiffany's side, her mother June, she says she has love for Fred, but she doesn't think that he's right for her daughter. And I don't think you guys are being honest with each other. So right now, you do not have my blessing. She said it right out from the gate. You do not have my blessing. I'm like, oh, the mom is serious with this. I'm not mad at that. So we get to the brother Marcus. He said, this is my first time meeting you. And the first time, the hello, I kind of thought it was disrespectful because I felt like you just, maybe glanced by him, say how you doing, didn't really like, say what your standards were, what's your, motives with my sister, your morals, all of that should have been implemented beforehand when I met you. So this is my first time and I'm a little bit turned off already. So her best friend Claire, she's at communication. I don't think you guys are in love with each other. Child, we gonna see why. So of course Tracy gives them task. Uh, Tiffany has to play 20 questions, and Fred has to play Tower Truth. And then it has to be, separated to get to know everything. So we get to Tiffany, the 20 questions. The first question was, when did Fred stop making you happy? She said when he cheated. That's where it hurts. But it's not the fact that he cheated, it's the fact that he made her feel crazy. He made her feel like everything was going on in her head. And she would cry at night for making her feel so bad and making her feel so insecure that what she's going through is not real. And he keeps on painting a picture that I'm not doing nothing. I'm not talking to nobody. It's all in your head. So it's like you are making me crazy when I know that my woman instincts, you are cheating on me. And yeah, I didn't like that at all. That really pissed me off. And it made her look at him differently. So then we get to Fred. How many times have you cheated? He said one time, but the mom said no, tell the truth. It was with one girl, not one time. So he admitted to three. You cheated 3 times with the same girl, or you cheated 3 times with numerous females. This is one has been recent. I have no idea. The family looked at him when he answered. It's like he didn't care because it was 3 years ago. The fact that it's been 6 years and she's still with him after he's cheated numerous times, and then we had an incident that was less than a month ago that's coming up, and also an incident that was 7 months ago. In the duration of the 6 years, you have accepted this man cheating on you left and right while he's painting a picture in your head that you are crazy. I'm like, girl, why are you still with this man? But then it was another question asking him, why do you cheat? And then he wanted to clarify it and said, why did I cheat? And I'm like, no, why do you cheat, period? I'm not going to do what last episode did, where y'all want to try and, like, the men don't accept how the question's being asked. It's a question, it's a yes or no, and I need an answer. Don't try to change the words because it doesn't fit what you're trying to do. He said, there is no explanation. He was in a very bad place financially, and he wasn't happy with himself in the relationship and at that time. I'm like, then why the hell did you propose to her if you wasn't happy? And you guys are in the same work field. How are you broke financially? And why did you not express that to her instead of you finding another woman to just to pour your heart out, pour your soul in, and all she could do was fuck the shit out of you to make you feel better? I don't like that. And the brother asked, how many times do you drink a day? He said, define drinks. Okay, what do you drink? He said he drinks beer all day. But then the brother asked, what was you drinking when we got into the house? He said, maybe it was left of some Crown. I'm like, okay. You drink more than beer. You drink that brown liquor. Crown, Hennessy, you drink more than that. What's up? So his mom asked Tiffany, why do you think he's drinking so much? She believes that it could have been a reaction to him being in the military. He holds everything in. The mom pipes in and said, I agree, because on his last tour, I believe, before he retired, he's in the enemy's crossfire. His friend got shot. He literally died in his arms. But after that, I don't think he ever sought counseling after that. And it messed with his psyche. I bet it did mess with his psyche. And then the way that he drinks, it could cause the way that he's acting towards Tiffany. And they asked her, what is your biggest fear in a relationship? She said, being hurt again. Fred has a wandering eye. We know that. So Tiffany's mom asked, do you realize that entertaining a conversation with a female that Tiffany does not know is bad? Like the incident happened a month ago. So a woman reached out to Fred and he replied back, you look good. You still look good. I'm like, what the fuck is that? What is that? Why would you even answer a question? How many women do you know? And I don't like that. How are you so willing? And his mom is so like, I don't understand what the problem is. And it's like, how can you still build trust, but every time you build it up, you bring it back down with betrayal and infidelity? What is the problem here? That y'all shouldn't do this. And it's like, he bullshits himself and he believes that what he's doing is not wrong. You having a conversation with a woman is not wrong? Okay. So then she talks about the same incident that happened a month ago. He had a conversation with a girl, he complimented her. The mom wants to defend and say, well, Fred is a very likable person. Just because he says hi to a woman doesn't mean he lays down with her. Okay, if you say that, compliment is cool, but at the same point in time, you still want to hit her up and say, let me know when you in the city? No. That crossed lines. To me, it crossed the line when you reply back to a woman to say you still look good. Who is this woman? Harpo, who's this woman? I'm like, the mom is getting on my nerves because she keeps on defending every time something said about her son. Newsflash, your son is a dog-ass dude. He's a dog. So then we get to the family dinner. The mom wants to go ahead and say, baby, how was the questions? Oh, they didn't beat you up too bad. I'm like, Mom, I'm trying to save him. He don't need to be saved. He needs to get his ass whooped. He needs to get told, you are a dog-ass dude, and you are ruining the best woman you have in your life because you just feel like you can. Good night. But he said, no, it's all good. Everybody got their feedback. And Tiffany's mama said, I know that's your son, but I don't bite my tongue when it comes to your son. And don't bite your tongue when it comes to my daughter. Because she feels like the problem is not Tiffany. It's Fred. He needs to feel in a space to be open. But at the same point in time, she's like, he don't be open. And vice versa. But she said, I have been the most transparent one in this relationship. He knows how I'm feeling. He just dismisses it. He said, I'm working on it. But then the best friend said, that's a cop-out because when you say you're just working on it, you just go and dismisses it. And he said, it's not going to happen overnight. We know it's not going to happen overnight, but you need to make it a conscious decision to not make it happen more than what you're already doing. And the brother said, what you mean you're going to work on it? I'm keeping it in mind. See, that's a cop-out. You're just saying keep it in mind because you don't want to change it. You feel like what you're doing is not wrong. And then the mom said, what do you want him to do? I said, he knows what he needs to do. He got a problem. He needs to fix it. The brother is definitely getting on. He don't like how his mom is pretty much like defending him. Why are you defending your son? You know your son is living foul. You know your son is doing wrong. Why are you the main one defending him? That's what mothers do. Mothers do not believe that their sons could do no wrong in their eyes. Newsflash, they can. The mom wants to understand that even though he has a problem, it's not going to be fair if everybody else needs to take a part and picking at him and shooting at him. And she's like, oh my God. I was getting irritated that she said that. And I'm so happy that Tiffany said it. She's like, Mom, I can't take it no more. Listen, I love you, Mom, but why every time somebody gotta say something about Fred, do you want to go ahead and defend him? Because I feel like everybody's attacking him. That's not fair. What's not fair is the fact this man keeps on cheating on this woman who hasn't done shit to him, but been there for him. And all he does is take her for granted and go fuck every other woman for some odd reason. And you are co-signing that shit for some reason. I don't know why. Why do you feel the need to defend him when he is the main one living foul? I have not seen an inch of what Tiffany is doing is wrong. I have not seen nothing. Okay, keep being an enabler. Keep protecting him being an enabler. That's exactly what she's doing. It's always somebody. Fred does not get held accountable because somebody else wants to save him. So at the same point in time, it's like everybody else is pretty much on the mom's side and be like, Mom, can you chill? This brother is living foul. Your son is a dog. Your son is not a perfect man. And you need to wake up and wipe the perfection that your son is the best thing ever and realize that your son has fucking flaws and he needs help. So Tiffany left the table to catch a break. And the same thing that nobody could tell Fred is that what's wrong with him because his mom keeps coming in and saving him. And she's going to keep on realizing that if she keeps on saving him, Fred does not see that he has a problem because somebody else is going to co-sign on his bullshit and make him think that what he's doing is cool. Some Martell shit, some Marceau shit, some Marie shit. Oh my God. So then, of course, everybody else is scattered. The brother and the best friend is like, I do not like how Fred is not taking ownership into what he's doing. Like, you got a fiance at home, brother. Either you want to make it, fix it, or just end it. And Tiffany's mom asked, do you think that it's beneficial of you being here? She said, I'm not sure. The fact that I'm not hearing how he's been answering questions, I don't think that he's taking this seriously. And she said many times, if you had told me how things been going and you didn't want to be there with him, I would have loved that. Because I know you, I want you to be happy. But I want you to be who you love. But I don't think that Fred loves you. You have not given him the fear enough to lose you. Because you were always going to be there. I'm like, come on, Mom, you better say it. He doesn't fear losing you to change. Because then, of course, it's all back and forth. So she has a private conversation with Fred in the corner about how the perception of things are not going good. And I don't know why you're not being 100% honest about how things are going. And why are you not taking this seriously? So it's amazing to her that everybody was having a front row seat into what she's feeling. So she knows she's not crazy. But he gives her dismissive rebuttals. Everybody that's pretty much telling him that he's wrong, he's giving everybody dismissive rebuttals. So it's like, I'm not the only one that's going through this. I'm not the only one that's witnessing what I went through for the last 6 years with him. Fred goes back at it again. Why everybody keep talking about what happened back in the day? I'm like, I know you did not don't dismiss it like Kirk do when the whole thing came about with the baby. Don't dismiss it like that. It's not healed. And that's what the best friend is telling him. He's like, brother, it's not just about that. The fact is we have not healed from this. And then you also made the same mistake not too long ago. Frequent. Last month, you had a conversation with a woman and then you said in the same breath, you look good. Hit me up when you in the city. It's the same cycle. So you need to stop. You need to stop and make a change. And that's what everybody else is saying to him. You need to make a change or you're going to lose the best thing you have in your life right now. So we get to the second day. Fred talks about the task and everyone was reacting to the old him. And the only person who sees the new him is Tiffany. I'm like, what old you? I feel this is the same you've been for the last 6 years. Ain't no new, ain't no change. You just don't like the fact that Tiffany is not the only one that's seeing this shit. The only one who doesn't want to believe it is your mother. So she talks about her task and she asked Tiffany, are you in love with him? She has a very tough question to ask because I struggle with that. I know there's been some damage to the relationship and the light is gone. And she said, do you still want to be married to him? I don't know how to answer that question. It's depending on change. And then she tells him, you always dismiss my feelings. And he says he wants to work on it. He loves her. He doesn't want to lose her. She said, the fact that you are showing me vulnerability right now in this moment, I feel like I've seen it one too many times. And Tracy could tell that he has done this before, but she wants Tiffany to realize that just because you keep seeing a repeated cycle doesn't mean that this one time is not going to be an actual change. You have to be open the fact that he is telling you this, but he said it over and over again. And I'm like, okay. So when somebody finally comes to the table and tells you what they want and what they want to show you, you have to be open enough to see it. So she's changing it again. Now I want you guys to have a dinner for two. I want the women to pick a location, and I want the men to serve the dinner. He does not know how to prepare a dinner. He doesn't know how to prepare a date. I don't know what did you do? What did you do to pursue Tiffany? If she's the one that planned a birthday cruise for you, I don't know what do you do? Do you just say hi and women just get what they want? I don't know, but she said she's not expecting anything much on this date, but just to see where his heart is. And the fact that he was expressing himself, she wants to understand what's more behind it. So he gets to the dinner. He broke a glass. He can't open the glass. He can't open champagne. And she asks, where do you want to take our relationship in a way that you haven't before? So in the end, she says, I'm a different person. You're a different person. I'm my own person. So things that might not bother you definitely bother me. And you should take my feelings You should take my feelings seriously when I tell you things. But in the midst of her trying to express that, he starts to laugh. I'm like, what the fuck are you laughing for? She said, what's funny? He said, I understand. I'm listening. She said, I just feel like you're dismissing it again. So she said, why are you in love with me? He said, I found love when I first saw you. And I believe we got to a point where I took you for granted. He said, that's the old new. That's the old me. That's the new me. He keep on saying that. I don't believe you can change within the 3-day process of this experience. I don't think so. But I just feel like he's just saying this for the cameras because he knows that he is looking like a complete asshole this entire time. And she said, how does it feel when everybody is telling you how you're doing with me as well as your alcohol consumption? He danced around the question and felt like they were coming at me when I cut back on my drinking. I don't know how much he drank this episode, but when he first got into the house and the family came, he poured him a glass of brown liquor. When it came down to the dinner, he stopped mid-table, mid-step to pour himself a jug of beer. And he's drinking champagne like it's water. So he felt like they were coming to me when I wasn't drinking. But he feels no way when they ask him about it. I'm like, you don't feel no way, but yet people are telling you to cut back. Which one isn't? So in the midst of her trying to come up with an example of how would it be if we was to go inside right now and they was to tell you, he cuts her off. And she shuts down, didn't finish. But she said, you know what? Nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to finish my statement, and I'm going to hear what you guys say. Because she stops talking because she doesn't want to hear what comes out of his mouth. Because she feels like what comes out of his mouth is bullshit. He tries to dismiss her, downplay how her feelings is. She's like, okay, he ain't going to hear me. But she said, I want to see where your head is at. So how would you feel if we was to go inside and my parents would ask you about your alcohol? And he said, no, I wouldn't tell them that I have an alcohol problem. But he understands that his alcohol problem is defined by how I'm going all over the place. But she pretty much tells him, I believe that you need alcohol to appear normal. And he said, that's not true. Well, you need something. You need beer or something to make yourself feel like you are here in this moment. But he said he could understand why it could lead to that because she sees him every day. She sees what he goes through. He works, he comes home, he tries to work on a relationship. But I feel like working on this relationship causes you to drink more than what's happening out there. Because I don't know when he left the military. I don't know when he found another job. He said working freight, so he must be in a trucking company, I believe, or construction. But if he has to drink the majority of the time, then he definitely needs some help. And he definitely needs to stop drinking. So she said he's going to get some help. And he wants her to be happy. And he's going to talk about his life and what he went through. So then we get to day 3. So they expresses how dinner went and that he listened and understood where she was coming from. And she was a different response than what she got. So she definitely feels happy. And the fact that he needs to find a way to express himself. He needs to go talk to somebody what's going on with him. Because what's going on with him, it was what's going on with him. And if he doesn't feel like he can share that with me, he needs to share that with somebody else. So he needs to just learn how to just listen and take it in instead of coming into defense all the time or dismissing what somebody else is telling him about himself. So we get to the blessing ceremony. Everybody says no because majority of them was under the impression that it was something different, but seeing it front hand, brother, you got an issue. The fact is you still find it fun to entertain other women, calling them not cool. The best friend, your priorities, bro, they not there. You're supposed to be, preparing for a family, preparing for a wife, but you keep on doing dumbass shit. Even the mother said no, because she is now recognizing and moving that perfection of her boy, that my son got some issues and he needs to fix them. So after that, and the mom, Tiffany's mom, she said, after everything, I still got love for you, but at the end of the day, I'm repeating what I said the first time I'm here. I am not giving you my blessing today. After hearing the responses, okay, so after she hears the responses, Tiffany and Fred have decided to postpone the wedding and not set a date. Fred said that he needs to seek help, and in order to do that, it needs to be supportive. Oh, she tells Fred, sorry, that you need to seek help, and I will be supportive, but as long as me being supportive, I am not going to do anything else unless you get the help that you need. And if it does not change, I am walking away. I'm like, okay. But in the midst of everybody pretty much saying a piece about what he needs to do, he gets down on his knee, reproposes Tiffany with a bigger ring, I believe. She accepts it. The brother's face was like, the fuck was that? I'm like, the bold of him to do that. And it's like, how did we get here? And this was like a gut punch in the face. The fact that Tiffany is going to accept his proposal all over again, when everybody told him, including her, you need to get help. I will stick by you. But at the same point in time, I'm not going to do nothing else with you unless you get the help that you need. But he figured if I just keep her on the leash of her still being my woman, I can still do what I need to do and change at the same time. Okay. And at the end of the day, they did the whole, catch up update. So he sought out counseling, and he has been better for Tiffany. He has been attending counseling sessions and has significantly cut back on his drinking. Tiffany believes he is no longer entertaining women. I'm like, bullshit. It was my phone drop. Because I feel like that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Because the fact that it couldn't have happened overnight, I don't know how further along this episode or this thing was, but I'm not believing it. I'm not believing the fact that he just instantly cut back on women. He cut back on his drinking. He cut back on entertaining women. I don't believe he did that within 6 months or 3 months after this. I don't believe it, because everything was right in front of his face. The evidence was all there. I guess. But like I said, I was irritated as all hell with this episode. So I felt like, girl, I don't know what this man's doing to you. I don't know if his dick game is like that, but he's a slimy, slick talker. I don't like that. But that's it, y'all. That's all I have for today. I'll see you guys later. Don't forget to like and comment, subscribe to my channel. Bye.